Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last week of DevOps Fest 2024. We are excited to see that many of you have already reached Nerdvana stage, and for others who are almost there, you still have 4 more days to go. Before we start with this session, let me remind you about the DevOps page in SAP community to know more about the various activities for DevOps Fest to gain points for the grand prize. The current session is on ABAP Cap Mondays, is about the DevOps with SAP BTP ABAP Environment, presented by Julie Plummer and Christoph Paul. Welcome, Julie and Christoph, to DevOps Fest, and now over
Hello
to
there.
you.
Thank you. Right, everybody. Good afternoon from Germany, and welcome to our session. My name's Julie Plummer. I'm part of the ABAP product management team and specializing in customer lifecycle management on Git. And my colleague Christoph Pohl is with me as well. Christoph, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Yeah, as you said, I'm Christoph. I'm the area product owner for customer lifecycle management in ABAP Cloud, and I'm excited to be here to assist you with your talk.
Good. Thanks, Christoph. That's great. Okay. Right, everybody. So we've got a fairly full agenda. I'm going to quickly just go through what are the benefits of Git-based development if you're working in ABAP, particularly ABAP environment on SAP BTP or Steampunk. What we offer in terms of tools for CI and CD, develop, test, build and deploy. Look at some customer scenarios, show you a live demo, and finally just run through what we've been working on and some of our roadmap features. Okay, and then at the end we'll mop up any questions. At the same time, if you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat and Christoph will run through them as quick as possible. Okay, thank you. Right, so let's get started. I always start with a disclaimer. I used to just rush through this, but I find it's useful because some of what we'll be showing are future releases or future vision, and so I'll be able to mention them to you. Although that won't be the focus of the talk, but I'll be able to mention them in full confidence. Okay. Where I want to really start is why are we using Git-based versioning and why are we using cloud-based transport management systems? So the main benefit of GCTS or Git-based change in transport system with Steampunk is it allows you to do two things. It allows you, if you're say an ABAP developer, you can align your ABAP and your non-ABAP development processes. You can integrate things like ATC or ABAP unit in your Git pipeline. And you can benefit from some of the latest innovations from third-party providers of Git-based or Jenkins-based services. The change in transport system that we offer allows you to simply transport development between ABAP systems, that is, sub-accounts of a single BTP global account. This allows you to then incorporate some of the Git-based continuous integration practices, and this makes your development more agile and maintains the high quality in the cloud. Okay. Why we offer cloud-based transport management. Basically, this is a whole new tool, so that it's a SAP BTP service, cloud transport management, and it means that it's not dissimilar to the on-premise offering, but it allows you to run this as a service in the cloud, so you don't need a separate ABAP on-premise system. It allows you to manage your transports of any of your Steampunk development artifacts and also your application-specific content. It adds a standardized process, and it also offers transparency to your audit trail. So who developed, what they developed, when they developed it, what sub-account they were in, And it takes all this information and stores it in your CTMS log. That allows modeling of complex landscapes, so you can have several downstream systems. If you've created a new feature in a dev system, you can model a complex set of transport nodes and import your new feature into several downstream landscapes at once. And last but not least, it allows you to integrate your transport management with SAP Solution Manager 7.2, which in itself includes Charm 4.5. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. What I want to do now is just talk about the what. So what tools are we offering to allow you to run through a Git pipeline with your Steampunk developments? Okay, so these are basically the 4 building blocks, and we offer a variety of tools. I'm just going to go through each of these tools in a little bit of detail. Okay, so first of all, when you develop in ADT using software components. This is a Git-based concept. So one software component has a one-to-one relationship with one Git repo and one transport layer. The transport layer is important because GCTS uses it then when you release the tasks and transport requests. I'll show you that later. Fundamentally, you're developing. I'll just pull up the pointer here. You're developing in you're starting by creating a software component. You can then clone that. It becomes a Git repo. You clone it as a Git repo. You create as many branches as you want. I'll be demoing this. And then you simply you'll have a structure package automatically created. So you just develop inside that package. And when you're finished with your feature, your enhancement, you can go back into software components. You'll see the committed objects, and you can export. Slightly hidden, unfortunately, but you can export. But I'll show you that in the demo. You can then export your ABAP development objects into various downstream systems, such as you've set up. There are 2 options in terms of the Git repo management. For ease of use, we recommend the SAP managed Git repo, which is it's managed under the hood. The advantage is that SAP does all the management for you, but the disadvantage, I suppose, is you don't see the Git repo. You can't go into a remote repo in say GitHub or whatever, Bitbucket, and have a look at it. You do all your management inside managed software components. If you want more control and more visibility, you can bring your own GitHub. This allows you to host on GitLab or GitHub or Bitbucket. You can create your own custom workflows, and you can incorporate GitHub Actions or Azure pipelines. Those are the 2 options. Once you've developed, you've got a feature. You're going to want to test that. So we offer, as part of our continuous integration offering, we offer a pipeline, several pipelines and several pipeline steps. So we've created an open source project. It's managed by SAP, but it's open source, and we offer several Jenkins pipelines for various scenarios, including Steampunk. And we also offer custom steps, so you can take the existing pipeline as a template and add some of your own optional steps, such as ABAP Unit or ATC. The Jenkins server runs your Git repos through this pipeline, and until you're satisfied with the results, until all your tests are passed. You can also just take this as a starting point and build in a variety of other pipeline steps that you want. These are all released then as OData services, as released APIs. For some of you, imagine that's quite interesting. I can't go into huge detail here, but my colleague Daniel Meek has written 2 detailed blog posts as to how to incorporate these steps, including how to take the standard pipeline and incorporate ABAP unit step by step. So that would be testing. That's continuous integration, broadly speaking. At some point, you're going to want to build and deploy. And for that, we have 2 options. Mainly for customers, we offer GCTS as a kind of adumbrated managed software components with the pipeline that I showed, and with transport management. There's a lot of automation here. There's a lot of SAP management here, so there's minimal overhead and maximum ease of use. Because for the majority of you as customers, you're going to develop in one system and then transport downstream to other systems inside your own landscape. For partners, I won't go into huge detail, but we do have a separate offering for those partners who are developing a multi-tenancy application. They can manage their tenants and their systems and spin up and pull down in the landscape portal. They have less ease of use, to be honest. There are more manual steps, but it also includes more sophistication and personalization, personal configuration. If you're a partner, I won't go into huge detail about this. However, my colleagues Ronnie Palka and Frank Jensch have already delivered a Devtoberfest session in week 39. So I've linked to that here, and I've also linked to some SAP Health information for those of you for whom that's interesting. This is obviously this is past. This is week 39, but it's still live. It's still available as a recording, as are the slides. And you can still comment or contact Ronnie and Frank with any questions on that. So these are the main tools. I'm just next step, I suppose, is to just talk to you about how this works as a process in a little bit more detail. So as a customer, typically, we strongly recommend that you have a 5-system landscape. So it's basically as I'm showing here. There's a dev landscape, and Infinity development. You can develop as many features as you want in your dev system and keep testing them. On your main branch, whereas you do correction development in a completely different branch with 3 completely different systems. So if you've got a feature in dev that's not quite mature and not quite ready for production, then you can pull the existing release branch, pull it into correction, implement your hotfix, test that in your quality assurance, and when you're satisfied with the tests, then you simply release it into prod, so that the release branch with the production landscape and the main branch with the Infinity development are completely separate. We strongly recommend this. It's much easier than trying to juggle inside a 3-system landscape. One point is this year, until this year, there was a setup cost which was not entirely trivial. But as of this year, we're offering or end of last year, actually, we're offering the 5-system landscape with hibernation. So you can spin up and pull down, say, test systems or QS systems whenever you need them. You pay for the hard disk, but you don't pay for processors and you don't pay for memory. So this considerably reduces the costs, and we really strongly recommend a 5-system landscape. Okay. To look at the big picture, so BTP is one building block here. This is my 5-system landscape with my 5 steampunk sub-accounts. You also typically, most customers and partners will have on-premise developments, for example, or other SAP Cloud accounts. You will, thirdly, you will presumably be automating your testing through the pipeline that's connected to these repos in these sub-accounts. You will typically transport from one system to the other using Cloud TMS, and you will be able to integrate integrate your Cloud TMS with other orchestrators such as SAP Solution Manager 7.2 or Cloud ALM. So this is a typical setup that we would recommend for any customer wanting to do lifecycle management on a steampunk system. And with that, I'm going to show you some of the features that I've talked about, but in the form of a live demo. Oh no, sorry, my mistake. Got ahead of myself. Okay, I also wanted to go into detail first about the transport before I do the live demo. I apologize. So this is worth doing, I think, in detail. What typically happens is you'll be developing and you'll commit, say, 3 commits into Git. When you've finished the feature, you might think, well, C3 is a good release candidate, so I'm going to pull it in for testing through the CI pipeline. When I'm happy with those tests, I'm going to have a release candidate. So commit 3 then is the release candidate. What happens then is 2 things. We pull the release candidate into the correction system, not in branch main, but in the release branch, release 1. And simultaneously, there is a manual import of the tagged commit C3 on the release decision, similar to a classical cutover in on-premise. This is necessary for various functions, including change request management. When we're done with that, typically the developer will create further corrections in the release branch and will commit those. We'll push those to the Git repo. What also happens, of course, you will transport, when you're happy, you will transport those corrected systems into QAS, run your tests, and then to production when you're happy. What also happens, though, is that the C4, the commit 4, will be pulled back up into the dev branch and into the dev system in the main branch. And if there are any further developments, then they will be then subsequent downstream commits, C5, C6, and C7. Okay, so that is that's quite complex, obviously, but I'm going to show you a small part of this in the live demo. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Yes, here we are. So hopefully we're still logged in. Yes, this is my global account. This is my global account. This is my CTMS service. I'm just going to run to here into the instances. All right. Type in instances and subscriptions and pull up my application. So this is what Cloud Transport Management application looks like. I generally start with landscape visualization. Okay, good, hasn't frozen. So this is what we can see here is my dev landscape, product management development node. And I'm going to transport in this demo a small ABAP class into my PMQ quality assurance system. What you can see from the legend is that this is the source system, so gray, and this is somewhere This is a system into which I've recently made a successful import. Okay, I'm going to start with PMD. That means going into, just a second, let's pull this to so I can see it. Okay, let's see. Right, so what I need to do is go into PMD. I'll just refresh this. That's it refreshing now, good. I'll just make this as big as I can, but I don't want it to be obscured by this. So if I go into my software components application to Fiori app, just going to move this. And as you can see, we've created several software components already. Just going to go ahead and create a new one here. The namespace is already supplied. I'm just going to call mine 6. As you can see, I've run through a couple of these. Okay, the URL is only for people using Bring Your Own Git. If you've got a separate Git provider, so we don't use that for the under the hood SAP managed Git. Okay, the type is development, so I'm just going to leave that as default and choose create. And obviously that will take a couple of seconds. Well, it's not too bad. Right, so from this point, we've got a Git repo created and a structure package created in the ABAP system.
Only after you clone it.
Sorry, after, yes, you're right, of course. After you clone it. Sorry, I should have said I'll clone it first, I think. And then min, that's the branch we want. Allow push and pull because it's a dev system. I'll leave the rest as defaults. The clone actually shouldn't take long because it's quite small. So running that. Okay. And okay. Little tiny bit of latency, but that's okay. Here we have it running. Good. Good. That's it. Okay. It will take a couple of minutes. I don't know if you want us to say anything about the background to this, Christoph, or
yeah, it's a couple of checks going on in the background while it's running.
Okay.
So it's much more than just the bare bone Git operations that's running in the backend.
Okay.
But usually it should be finished by now.
Yeah, a little tiny bit of latency, I suppose. So okay, when we've got it, I'm just going to refresh because I suspect that should be ready by now. Success. Right. Okay. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Good. So as of this point, we've got a new repo. We've got a default. I'll just run down. We've got a default branch main. And we also have a software component in ABAP and a new structure package as well. So I'm also going to, I've done this. I obviously need to select this branch and check it out. Okay, yes, I do. Absolutely. Okay, that's it checked out. So now we've got the new repo, cloned it, we've checked it out. We've updated the working tree. Head is pointing to main, that's our branch, and we're ready to start developing. So I'm going to pull up my, hopefully that's still there. That 4. Now, the easiest way probably to do this is to pull up favorite packages, add a package, and give it the same name as conveniently as the component. It's got the same name. So call that up just now. Right, as you can see, we've done this a few times before, but it's okay. New development package, because obviously we can't develop in the structure package. So I'm going to call this hello. Make it quite clear. This is the Hello World app. Hello World 6. Okay, Once that development package, super package, as you can see, is the structure package, and that's the transport layer. And as I say, that's important because it ensures that GCTS is picking up that transport request when I release it. Okay, this is the transport request. I'm just going to call it DevTool tests to test 6. And I'm going to, what we'll see is that this request description is part of the commit message when we go back into manage software components. Okay, so here's my package, my dev package. I'm just going to create a new class. What do we call it? We're going to call it ZCL DevTool 6. Hello world. Hello Devtoberfest. Version 6. And I'm just going to add the interface to make it a console app just so that we can actually run it as a real application. Okay, now that's the transport request, and that's the description for the commit message. Okay. Right. So here we've got the class. Just do the most basic of things. Write this. Okay, and yeah, let's just do it. Hello. I've got too many, haven't I? No, it's this. I am. Missed. Yes, wrong one. Okay. Okay. Hello. I believe. Oh, I see. Hello. I'll just do this. Okay. Hello, world. Last. Sorry. Typing skills here at a premium. Okay. Hello, world. Okay. That's that. Yeah. Sorry. It's typing skills are a problem there. Save that. Activate that. There we are. That's it activated. Okay, and run it. Let's see. Console, hello world, jolly good. Now, next step is obviously to transport it. Modifiable. And here we see our transport request and our transport task. I'm just going to release that task first. I'm just going to move this back up again. Sorry. Here's the progress. This sometimes takes a little while as well, Christoph. I don't know if you want to talk about the progress or so any aspect of the background information.
Well, releasing the task is usually quite fast.
Okay, and then the release.
Because not so much happens in the background. It's the usual stuff that the change in transport system did over 20 years back.
Sure.
The thing that takes a bit longer is then the release of the transport request.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, it's done. Jolly good. You were right.
That's why the remote communication was good.
Right. Okay, right. Well, I'll just release this. So that's going to take a little while longer then, as you say. So yes, that's the request releasing here. Right. So you're saying, so this is when the transport management system is communicating with the Git repo and the Git provider. Okay.
So actually, it's taking the contents of your ABAP objects, the bill of material of your transport, and then it's generating lots of files that would traditionally have been written to a shared transport file system and then transported with classical TMS. But now with Git, we have a Git repository where these files are pushed on a commit, or a commit is written and then pushed to the Git repository, and that's what is taken here a bit longer.
Okay.
Because admittedly, the demo machines are not the
fastest.
the fastest ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, however, our PO, that's us now. That's released. What we can see, that's our request. That's our task, and these are our two objects. Okay, so if we go back into PMD, available component, put this back down again. We'll just do this. So what do we see? If I refresh this, yep. If I refresh this, there should be a new commit. It takes a moment, but not too long. And if I go into this, what I can see are my committed objects. Right, there we are. Just to move this so you can see this. There's my package and there's my class. Okay, so I'm just going to export this commit. This node here is the source system, so there is only one. So I'm exporting from PMD. Here's my here's the name of the component and the commit ID and the branch, all part of the export message. Right. Okay. And that appears to be that exported. My next step then is to go back into Cloud Transport Manager. Okay. And when I go into PMQ, transport node, PMQ, I can see what's in the import queue. Good. And I can then import this into PMQ manually. I could also have done it automatically, but I wanted to show you this. Okay, so I can either select one of several commits if I have several, and commit up to. That's a new feature. In this case, this is my first commit. I just want to import all, basically. All right, am I sure? Yes. So, this takes a little while, but what we can do is, if I move this back again, it started. If I go into, there we are. If I go into my log, nope. Yeah, where's it gone? Somewhere. Right. Right, and so this will give you the content information, and this will give you the log. Go down there, more, and we've got to step 11 of about, yep, 15 or 16. So let's see, step 10, get the repo content. Do this. Step 11, import the content transport. Successfully imported. I guess I think we've just got a couple more steps to go, Christoph. Is there anything you'd like to say about the log, or about the background in general? Because this is always a bit that takes slightly longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, typically, the thing that we transport here now to our queue node is something that you would have also imported with a CI pipeline. So for instance, you could have set up a Jenkins that runs regularly across all your release commits, and then imports all the commits automatically to a test system that's automatically qualified, even using ABAP unit and ATC checks and so on. But here, for the demo purposes, we just simplified things a bit to show you the basic principle. And the way you would set up the whole thing in a productive environment would be that you do your automatic forwarding to the test system, and then you use Cloud TM as basically for the actual deployment to target systems, like your acceptance tests before final deployment to the productive system. And, especially the final deployment to a productive system is typically set up also for manual import, like you did here.
Right, good. Okay.
See how far we got.
Well, I think we're at, look, oh yeah, we've done it. We've got success, I think. That's interesting. Go back here. Q. Right. Where are we? Export this. Display the log. Right. Yes. Import ended for DevTools 6 on branch main with success. Very good. Sorry about the delay. As Christopher says, we're running through quite a lot of communication in the background. So we've done that. Last step then is to go into, I'm just going to close these because there's no use anymore. On my next step then, or my last step, is to just go into PMQ and add this again as a favorite package. So I'm just going to move this away. Hard to put it to 6. Right. There we are. That's the structure package. That's been successfully imported. Here we see the development package and the class. A minute. Source code library. Classes. Here's the class. In PMQ. And here's the hello world statement. And it's been activated already. So it's transported as activated. And there we have our second hello world from our QAS system. So that's basically it. You can develop basically an ADT as usual, but instead of using a classical on-premise change in transport system, we've set up a cloud-based transport management system as a simple BTP service. Okay, so I'm just going to close that and go back to our last few slides. Okay, so we're almost done, but I just want to run through a couple of other things that we've been developing over the last year or so. First of all, this is the big picture again. And as we've said, that BTP is just one building block of this. So what you typically have is, we've got one typical customer has got an on-premise SAP S/4HANA. They're in the automotive industry, and most of their processes are in their on-premise S4 systems, and these are managed then by that and their on-stack extensions. These are all managed by their classical transport management system on-premise. Typically, they also have a new application which is called by the traditional application. They've got a new side-by-side extension which they've created in SAP BTP ABAP Environment. And the front end for the application, what the end user will see, is in Fiori, is a Fiori application in the Cloud Foundry environment. And these latter two are then managed by Cloud Transport Management. And the key thing is these are heterogeneous transport requests, but we need to make sure that the end user receives the the called extension and the calling application and the front end all at the right time. So to do that, again, I'm going to move my prompt down. To do that, what we need is SAP Solution Manager 7.2. So we use SAP Solution Manager and Change Request Management 4.5 to orchestrate all these heterogeneous transport requests and make sure that they arrive in prod at the same time, so that the end user has no, so the changes, are transparent for the user. Okay, that's something we've been working on. Another perhaps quick glimpse at the roadmap. Let's see. We've been working in a variety of fields, basically, but three perhaps that I will draw your attention to are in ABAP Git. We now support, if you've deleted an object in your local repo, you can push that deletion to downstream systems in ABAP Git. We're also, for a future release, but we are working on this, we want to be able to connect your software components in Steampunk to your on-premise Git services by means of SAP Cloud Connector. And finally, we want to let you migrate your existing software components from a SAP managed Git, the hidden Git, to your own, bring your own Git service provider, such as GitLab or GitHub or Bitbucket or whatever. For an overview of all our planned features, I would simply say, visit the roadmap page. Okay. And that is basically the main body of our presentation. I provided a lot of background information in the form of links here. I've provided a list of our other DevTools sessions. This is the one from Ronnie and Frank, which I can strongly recommend if you're interested in multi-tenancy applications. And these are our TechEd talks, which are available, even though the TechEd is over, but these are still available virtually. Okay, so that's the QR code for that. Okay. So if you take away nothing else, I would say three things to sum up. First of all, git-based change in transport system enables you to employ some of the git-based continuous integration practices while you're developing in SAP BTP ABAP Environment. Cloud Transport Management allows you to transport your development objects and your configuration settings also in SAP BTP ABAP Environment. And as a result, our customer lifecycle management on Git tools will apply some of the DevOps principles to your Steampunk systems and allow you to improve your agility and maintain quality in the cloud. Okay, so that is basically it. Are there any questions? I would suggest they go into the chat. I don't know if you have had any questions, Christoph, that you might want to share. Right, good. Glad to hear that. Grand, excellent. Okay.
Not that many, actually.
It's a big one.
There was an important hint that solution managers' days are numbered. So it's going to be supported until 2028, and until then, the transition to cloud application lifecycle management (CALM) is ongoing. It's not quite on par with features as solution manager, so that's why I say I'm ongoing. But that's of course the target where we want to be. But good thing here is for us the cloud TMS integration is more or less a hub and spoke approach, where we just integrate to CTMS as a hub, and they connect to all the other spokes like CALM, like Solution Manager, and even others external orchestration tools that you might want to use to manage your application lifecycle holistically. That was one point, and some technical questions about the the details under the hood where this Git repository is stored. So of course, there is a central place like on GitHub or GitLab, whatever, where this even these SAP managed Git repositories reside. The SAP managed ones you don't have to care, but for bring your own ones you should care. Obviously. Sure. And when I go to a target ABAP development system to work actually with the contents of the software component, then I would have to clone this to this application server where I'm working on that. So it's either a development machine where I use this as a source repository with the intention to release transports and write them and push them to the Git repository again. Or it's a target role where I just consume the changes from the Git repository, like a test or production system. And what happens when I clone that is that the same what happens on your local developer PC when you clone a Git repository. It's written to the local file system, and then the change in transport system, the classical one, actually uses the same mechanisms as before. It takes these files and creates a transport that's imported into the ABAP system. Then there is just another question coming in. Seems like we still use classic TMS for on-premise environments, and Cloud TMS is only to be used in S/4HANA Cloud. That's more or less right. So Cloud TMS is a SAP BTP service to connect different cloud accounts with each other. And here we use it mainly in our context for the BTP ABAP environment content. So that's one flavor of cloud development. Others include SAP UI5 and CAP and so on. That can all be managed with Cloud TMS, but Cloud TMS has no clue about your on-premise development. And the classic TMS won't go away in on-premises and even private cloud environments. And that's where you then have orchestrators like Solution Manager or Calm that do that integration, like you just explained.
Okay, right.
What else? Yeah, that's more or less it. What we got.
Main questions. Grand. Right. Okay. Thank you, Christoph, for that, and thank you everybody for your attention. I think I'm going to hand you back to you, Sheena. Thanks very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for the great session, Julie and Christoph. And now to our participants, you can still post your questions as comments here, or you can even head out to the events page of SAP community where you can post the questions if you have anything, if you're watching the recording maybe later. And the slide decks used for today and the validation tutorials, everything will be updated in the description box of this video by the end of the day. So don't forget to check it out. And I think we have one more question. Julie, would you like to take it?
Certainly, one of us can take a question.
There's a plan to bring down the Cloud TMS to a classic environment. I am not aware of any plans. I guess with classic environment on-premise is meant here. So there are no plans that I know of, because that's not the purpose of the Cloud TMS to work on premises. As I said, you have higher level orchestrating tools on top, like Solution Manager today and Cloud Application Lifecycle Management.
Okay, right. Okay, that was our final question. I think, Sheena, do you want to close the session then, or shall I just hand to you?
Yes, so yeah, that's all even from my side. Thanks again, Julie and Christoph, for this great session. And thanks everyone for attending this session, and stay tuned for more. Take care and bye.
Right. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for your attention.
Bye.